Welcome to your first Adobe Illustrator lesson. Adobe Illustrator is a program that uses vector graphics to create images. Remember, vector graphics are created using mathematical formulas. So no matter how close we zoom into our artifact, the lines will always be smooth and never pixelated. Now, if you would, please open up the file that I have in Canvas titled Adobe Illustrator Lesson 1. All right, you should have opened this file right here. This file is a 12 by 12 canvas separated into 9 different areas. And we're going to do 9 different things to kind of help us get started in using Adobe Illustrator. The first thing I want you to pay attention to is up top, our commands here: File, Edit, Object, Type, Select, Effect, View, Window, and Help. Each one of those files has a drop-down menu where you'll find other commands. And as we learn more about Adobe Illustrator, we will use more of these commands. While we're using Illustrator, if you ever get to a point where you've moved so many things around and it gets kind of cluttered or crowded and you just want to return to the original state, you can always click on the word window at the top of your screen, find workspace, make sure that we are in Essential Classics, and hit Reset Essential Classics. That'll get everything back to where we want to go. Okay, if I can point your attention over to the left side of your screen, we have several tools here, just like in Adobe Photoshop. And if you hover your mouse over the tool, it will give you the tool name and the quick key that corresponds with that tool. Take a second and make yourself familiar with each key. As you can see, if the tool has a small triangle at the bottom right-hand corner, that means that there are other tools under it. And if you hold down your mouse, those tools will pop up. Now, let's say that I want these tools in a menu of their own. I'll just click this over here, and it'll give me my own menu bar with just those particular tools. Again, I can close these or go to Windows, Workspace, Reset Essential Classics, and it'll return my board to how I began. Before we start our design, first thing I would like you to do is go up to the top of your screen, find the word menu, and under Windows, and under the Windows menu, I want you to find the word Navigator. This is going to allow you to bring up a small window of your entire project, but you can zoom in and control which part of the project you zoom in on using the Navigator. Let's zoom in on the top left-hand corner of our project. Now that we're here, the first thing we're going to do is learn to use our type tool. And we want to type a text that's going to fill this box. So let's go over to the letter T. Click the letter T, and then click anywhere in this box. When you do so, a Latin phrase, lorem ipsum, will show as a placeholder. This simply shows you what the text will look like that you're deciding to use. If you decide you want to change the text, that placeholder will change. What I'd like you to do right now is choose a text. but make sure that it is a thick text, not something thin like these here, something with a little body to them. All right. Once you choose that text, I want you to double click on it and type in your first name, hit enter, and then your last name. If you have any stray text boxes, like you see here, simply click on it and hit delete on your keyboard to get rid of it. Now, what I'd like you to do is at the top of your screen, you'll see a tool called the selection tool. Click on the selection tool and then double click your name. When you do so, you'll see a cursor appear. Take the cursor and highlight your entire name. Now, up here at the top of your screen, we're going to do a few things. One, change this color from black to any color that you would like. Change this color that says that there is no stroke. That's what this is. This is the stroke or the outline of your number. Use the drop-down menu and change that to any color you would like. Then I'd like you to change the stroke from 1 point to 3 points. Staying on the top of your screen, I want you to find the number here that tells you the size of our font. I want you to select a size that fits inside of that square and fills the square up. And then I would like you to select Align to Center. Now, if your name falls outside of the box, like my name does here, click on the selection tool, click on your name, and move it to the middle of the box. Okay. The next thing I'd like you to do is find in this menu here your Shapes tool. And we're going to find, it looks like a rectangle. Click and hold it. All right. If yours looks like a circle, an ellipse, a rounded rectangle, those are all under that same menu. So click and hold it until you get our rectangle tool. All right. We're going to go up top, the very top corner of our screen. We're going to draw a rectangle that covers this whole square. Next, we're going to change the colors of our rectangle to anything other than blue and orange. Now, click on your selection tool, click on your rectangle, right-click your mouse, go down to the word Arrange, and then select Send to Back. What we did is a lot like Photoshop. We have layers. And when we click on an object, we can manipulate each layer at a different time. So we've now completed box 1. Look up here in your navigator window, and you'll see a little red box covering this area. That red box represents the viewing area that we've zoomed in on. Let's slide over here to the next square. Under your type tool, you'll see a shape tool. Click and hold that. Drag your mouse to the little triangle right here. We're going to rip this tool out and put it up here. This way we can make sure we get through each one. First thing I want you to do is click on the rectangle. Let's draw a box up here in the corner. Change the inside of that box to any color you'd like. I'm going to choose green. Change the outside of that box, the stroke, to any color you like. I'm going to choose blue. Now change the stroke to 5. All right. Next, let's click our rounded rectangle tool. Draw a rounded rectangle. Change the inside of the rounded rectangle to any color you like. I'm going to choose brown. Change the outside to any color you like. I'm going to choose blue. Okay, now let's choose the ellipse tool. There's 2 types of ellipses we can use. The first one's a perfect circle. So start building your ellipse and hold down the Shift key. Let's make sure you're on the ellipse tool. All right, hold down the Shift key and draw a perfect circle. Let's draw the inside of that circle, white, the outside of that circle, red. Next, we're going to use our polygon. Let's click and hold a polygon. Choose your selection tool to click and move it. Let's draw the inside of our polygon. One color, and our outside another, and I'm going to choose blue and gold. As you see, the default for this polygon tool is a hexagon with 6 sides. If we wanted there to be more than 6 sides, what we would do is I'm going to click off the polygon tool completely. I'll double click the polygon tool here, click on my screen, and it'll ask me how many sides we want. So for this, let's change it to 12 sides. Let's go ahead and draw a 12-sided figure. Let's change the inside of that figure to a different color and change the stroke to something different. All right. Next tool is the star tool. Same thing. If we just click, got to select it first. Hit Control Z to go back. I'm going to click on my star tool. And if I just click and drag, it's going to draw a 5-sided star. All right. If I double click on it and just click on my screen, it's going to allow me just to choose a number of sides. Let's choose 7. Let's change the color of it. There we go. Now we know how to change different colors for all of our shapes that we can create. All right. Slide your navigator window down to this square right here. And let's select a circle. Let's use a perfect circle. So we're going to select our ellipse tool, hold down our Shift button, and create a small circle in the top left-hand corner of this square. Color and stroke and fill doesn't make a difference. Okay? Now, with this circle selected, let's go over here to our pen tool and hold it down until you see add an anchor point. We're going to select that. I'm going to zoom in even further on that circle so we can see a little better what we're going to do here. Okay. With my circle selected, I'm going to add an anchor point. I'm going to go right here and add an anchor. I'm going to select, add an anchor point. I'm going to go right here and add an anchor. I'm going to do that same thing again. Select, add an anchor point, add one here. Select, add an anchor point, add one here. I've added 4 more anchor points to this circle. Now I'm going to go to my direct selection tool, click on this anchor point here to where you can see it's selected by the blue squares. And I'm going to drag it in just like this. Okay. I'm going to select my selection tool, hold down my Alt key, make a copy right here. I'm going to select my direct selection tool. I'm going to find, didn't make a copy. So let me go back, Control Z, Alt. There's my copy right there. All right. With my direct selection tool, I'm going to select this anchor point, click it, drag it, and make this shape right here. All right, let's move over to our next square. And I want you to do, I want you to click on your circle tool, your ellipse tool, hold down Shift, and let's draw a big circle. All right, still on our circle tool, let's draw another circle, holding down Shift, a little smaller. Let's click inside. Let's change the color of that circle. Make another circle inside. Change the color of that circle. And let's make another one, holding down Shift. And we'll change the color of this circle as well. All right, now holding Shift, let's click the black arrow, the selection tool, holding Shift, click the white circle, then the green circle, the blue circle, and then the orange circle, or whatever color circles that you have. All right. Now, on here on the right-hand side, I want you to find horizontal align to the left. All right. See how it moved everything aligned to the left horizontally. If we do it horizontally aligned to the center, this is what it gives us. Now let's go over here and let's go vertical align to the center. So we've already aligned everything horizontally. Now let's align them vertically. And now we've made a bullseye. Okay. Everything is still selected. We'll click and drag it to the middle of our box. Good. All right. Let's move over to this next square. And then this next square, we're going to learn to use lines. So over here in your toolbar, look on the right side of the toolbar and get the line segment tool. Actually, let's click off of this first. Choose the line segment tool. Now, if you look, we don't have any color on our segment. Would be a yellow outline. So let's go over here. And this is a default fill and stroke. So default is the fill for the default is white and the stroke is black. Let's go ahead and select that. We're going to make our line fairly thick. So let's make our stroke 5. Line tool selected. Click. Let's create a line in this view here. Good. All right. Let's create another line under it. But let's change the thickness of this line to 8. And let's change the fill. I apologize, the stroke, something different. So if you see, lines don't really need a fill. All they need is a stroke. All right, let's keep creating lines in this box. All right. Change the color. Let's change the stroke of this one to 15. And let's do one more line. Change the color. And let's change the stroke of this one to 20. All right, let's bring your navigator window down here and let's zoom in on this bottom square right here. All right, what I'd like you to do here is just go find the square tool, the rectangle tool. Let's draw a black rectangle. Good. Okay, now let's go over here to our rounded rectangle tool. Let's draw a rounded rectangle here. And let's color it white. Now, let's go over here to our gradient tool. Click on our gradient tool. Let's make sure that the type is linear gradient. Let's click down here on our gradient slider. That automatically gives our tool or our color the gradient. Let's change the colors. Let's choose a light color here other than white. Double click on that circle. And let's choose a dark color here other than black. Double clicking this circle. And that's how we use the gradient to fill a space. Okay. All right. Let's go down here. Create another rounded rectangle. And as you can see, the fill is still the purple and gold gradient. So we're going to change this. Let's click on our gradient tool. And let's put our cursor under the gradient. And it's going to allow us to add another color. Let's do this 3. We have 3 colors there. 4, 5, 6. Let's use 7 colors. Let's take 3 colors and slide them over here to this side. 3 to slide them over here to this side. And let's put 2 in the middle. All right. Let's make these 2 in the middle. Double click on them. Let's make them both white. All right. Let's double click on this gradient. Make it red. Make this one red. Double click on this one. Choose another color. I'm going to choose purple. I'll choose this purple. And then I'm going to click on this one and I'll make it yellow. And this one's already yellow. If you see, as we move the gradient, oh, I added one. I didn't want to add that. I'll drag that over here. As we move the gradient, our color will change. Okay? All right, let's move over here to the next square. And over here, we're going to use the pen tool. So I want you to look, and it's down here. And it might say add anchor point tool. So we're going to click and hold that and select the pen tool. Let's select no fill, stroke of 1, and a stroke color of black. Okay? Select your pen tool. In the top corner, click and drag your pen down to the middle of the screen. Now here we're going to click and hold our pen. And you see it gives us a little anchor point. Okay? So we're going to hold the anchor, make a little curve. We're still holding our mouse button down. We're just taking the little black arrow to the top corner. Then we're going to let go, but we still see that there's a little handle there. Okay? We're going to click it. So that's a line we've made. Now it's still connected. Let's bring our tool back down here without clicking anything. When we get down to about right here, let's click it and hold it. All right? And you start to see another arc being created. I'm going to let go of my mouse. I'm going to bring my mouse out here a little more. I'm going to click it, let go. I'm going to finish. I'm going to close this shape. And I made a little Nike swoosh. Actually, let me come down here and click it and hold it to bring it a little rounder. Then make my Nike swoosh. And when I click that end, it's going to close the shape. And then I can go over here and choose a color for my shape. Move my shape to the middle of my box. So that's how to create a shape with your pen tool. And we'll do a little more with that later on. Okay, for our last lesson, let's move over here to our final box. All right. And let's go over here to our shape tool and let's select ellipse tool. Let's hit shift. Let's draw a good circle, perfect circle by holding down the shift key. Let's color the inside of it black. Okay. Now select the knife tool, which is right here. You might have to hold it down. It might be the eraser tool, the scissor tool. We're going to use the knife tool. And let's just cut a little bit on the outside of this circle here. Now, we see there's two parts. Let's take our direct selection tool. I'm sorry. Take the selection tool and double click on the line. What that does is it shows the different paths, the two different parts what we cut. All right. Go back up here and click on your back arrow. All right. Click on the outside of this. Again, it shows the part that we cut. And now we have that part selected. Let's change the color of that. All right, let's click on this arrow. Let's go back to our knife tool. And let's draw a shape out the middle. Come down here, just like that. Get our selection tool. Select the part we cut. Double click it. Let's change the color of that. All right. Click back out. And one more shape. Let's come over here. Let's get creative with it. All right. Now, both pieces are individual pieces. If we wanted to, we could click them and move them away from our shape since we've cut them. Okay. I'm going to hit Control Z here. I'm going to add another shape. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to draw a circle, another perfect circle. Hold down Shift right here. I'm going to give it a third color or a fourth color, something that's not in there. Okay. I'll put that circle here. I'm going to right click, and instead of sending, click arrange, and sending it all the way to the back, I'm going to send it backwards one step. Actually, let's do this. Let's select the yellow part. Right click it, send arrange, and send it forward. Good. So now we've sent that yellow part on top of our circle. All right. Let's click on this one. Right click it, arrange, we'll send it backward. Or send it to the back, I'm sorry. Now this lesson, we've done a lot of different things in Illustrator. The last thing we're going to do is we're going to group everything. But select, draw a line around everything. Going to go to Object, Group. This way, everything we have is in one group on our canvas. Now, go to File, Save As, save in your computer as Lesson 1. And then go to File, Export, Export As. We want to export this as a JPEG. We want to call it Lesson 1 JPEG. Turn your Lesson 1 JPEG into Canvas for your grade.